Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, mysterious voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I've found in my travels. Today I want to talk about some manga that I read, one that definitely falls in line with this Spooktober theme that we have going on. It's part of a series that I've been exploring, a series that is about mercenary groups and battle-hardened warriors with giant swords, in the literal sense, not in the metaphorical sense. And so I am talking about Volume 6 of Berserk, which was written by Kentaro Miura and published in 1993. I've talked about Kentaro Miura on this channel before, so again, I don't need to go into that great of detail, but just highlight the usual that he was a writer known for writing various manga, or manga as it's properly pronounced. And one of the things that he wrote was the Berserk series, which was critically acclaimed, was also turned into, I think, an anime and video games and whatnot. And he was very well regarded for what he wrote. And he ended up dying a couple of years ago. So if you want to know more about who he was, you might want to check out the first volume of Berserk. If you're at this point and you haven't watched the other ones, what are you doing here? And so once again, I am going to talk about another volume, and there will be spoilers because this is volume 6 at this point. Presumably, you've seen 1 through 5, and if you haven't, oh well, or you've seen my videos on 1 through 5, or you read volumes 1 through 5. I'll do a summary, a little bit of analysis, and we'll move on from there. So volume 6 of Berserk focuses, of course, on Guts as well as his mercenary friend Griffith, as they stand before a king being praised for their actions and their acute battle ability on the battlefield. And Griffith appears to be rising through the ranks. It's said that he might be made a general pretty soon if he continues the way that he's going. Unfortunately, this upsets the king's brother, Lord Julius, who is angry that someone as common-born as Griffith would rise to the ranks of someone like all the other nobles. Like it's a class issue there. Lord Julius believes that all the things that have been given to Griffith should have gone to him and his family. And at the same time, Griffith is sort of wooing the king's daughter, which Julius also seems to be mad about. And so he begins plotting to kill Griffith as a way to, bring him down and whatnot. And so he has one of his archers shoot a poisoned arrow at Griffith while he's on a hunt with the king, this unfortunately backfires because the arrow hits the bayonet that Griffith is holding, which connects him to the demon power and whatnot. And Griffith ends up surviving, and he's even more well regarded because he was standing next to the princess at that time, and so the arrow seemingly was aimed for her. So he protected the princess with his body, and that just brings him more acclaim there. But Griffith seemingly finds out that it was Julius who ordered this hit, and so Griffith orders Guts to kill Julius in an assassination type means, not being seen or anything like that. And he manages to kill Julius, but his child shows up, and Guts accidentally kills this child as well, believing him to be a soldier of some type. He also seems to have some sort of connection with the child based on that child's upbringing. And Guts manages to escape the castle, pursued by a couple of other soldiers who haven't quite seen his face. And then Guts manages to go to another part of the castle where Griffith is still in the process of wooing the princess, and he goes into a monologue about dreams and how it's important to have one, and you can't simply live life for without purpose, and like it's important to have friends, but those friends also need to have dreams, and any friend who has a dream should be willing to fight anything and everything to accomplish it, even if that means coming into conflict with Griffith himself. And we see that Guts might view Griffith as a friend at this point, because he seems to like linger on Griffith's words. And then the very next day, Guts and Griffith and the entire band of the Hawk return to battle. And Guts manages to save Casca, the girl that likes Griffith, a couple times. She seems to be downtrodden because, again, Griffith is focusing all of his attention on the princess. And Guts manages to save Casca from a very huge, threatening soldier, but they fall off a cliff. And as they're huddling in a cave, Casca reveals her origin, how she came from a starving family, and a nobleman showed up one day to take her away, presumably to better things. But the moment he got her alone, the nobleman tried to rape her, and Griffith showed up and offered her a sword while the nobleman was standing there, and she picked it up and killed the nobleman. And so he was sort of offering her a chance at her destiny, and that's really where this volume comes to a close. In terms of analysis, there is a fair bit to talk about with Volume 6. One of the themes that Miura is working with is that of jealousy. I think like each volume has its own heavy set of emotion that Miura wants to get across. And here it seems to be jealousy. Multiple characters are driven forward by their jealousy, especially as it pertains to Griffith. He seems to be the target for many characters' affections and fits of jealousy throughout, because Guts and Casca seem to be jealous of the princess. Casca because I think she had a romantic relationship with Griffith. Who knows what Casca is to Griffith, if he even sees her in the same way, but it's clear that she likes him and he doesn't return her affection, so she's upset that the princess is getting that attention. And Guts also seems to be upset about that, like he's jealous of the princess for having Griffith's attention, whether that's romantic in a homoerotic, homosexual kind of way. That does seem like the intention at times, and even Miura seems knowledgeable, or like he knows that Griffith is an attractive man, because he has several characters say it in this volume, and it seems like that's what he's trying to get at, like this maybe brotherly, maybe more than brotherly, maybe romantic relationship between Guts and Griffith. How the longer Guts stays in Griffith's vicinity, the more he wants his support, the more he wants to be around him and be a friend or something more to him. Julius also has this jealousy, and it sort of drives him into a deep rage, which affects the entire plot of this particular volume. He believes that Griffith is lowborn and deserving of nothing, and Julius comes from a highborn family, and so all the things that were promised to Griffith, including a generalship and maybe even the hand of the princess, should belong to Julius or his son. That he's trying to have the best for his son provide, and Griffith is getting in the way of that, and so he's jealous of the attention that the king is paying towards Griffith. But what's sort of ironic, what's sort of funny, is that Griffith probably doesn't care or really even notice all this admiration. He probably thinks that he's entitled to it, or like he would probably say that to admire another person in such a way that they affect your emotions like that isn't very logical, or like it stands in the way of you focusing on your legacy, on accomplishing your dreams. So it's just funny that Miura does such a great job of highlighting jealousy, even if like Griffith isn't really going to notice because of how well Miura built up this character here. It's also important to talk about Griffith's dream. I think Miura does a great job of developing Griffith's character, because he kind of seemed like two-dimensional throughout up until this point. But here we learn more about him, see his insight and his cunning, as well as like his overarching goals in terms of what he wants to accomplish. Not only the ambition of having a high position of power, but accomplishing his personal goals and his personal ideology out of life. Griffith seems driven by ambition, He seems driven by the fact that you have to have a goal in life, you have to work to accomplish it, and everything should be aimed at accomplishing the dream. Like you should serve the dream, Morpheus, as I think Gaiman would call it. And if not doing that is seen as a sign of weakness in his eyes. Allow me to read you an interesting quote from this. One who dreams of world domination, one who devotes his whole life to thorough tempering of one's sword. If there is a dream which takes one his whole life to find, there are also dreams which, like storms, devour tens of thousands of other dreams. With no relation to social status, class, background, whether it suits them or not, people yearn for a dream. Sustained by a dream, hurt by a dream, revived by a dream, killed by a dream. And even after being abandoned by a dream, it continues to smolder from the bottom of one's heart, probably until the verge of death. A man should envision such a lifetime once, a life spent as a martyr to the God-named dream, which is a very fascinating quote getting at Griffith's sort of philosophy, that everything you do should be done in the pursuit of a dream, and everything else you should martyr yourself to everything else. And not accomplishing that is, again, it's viewed as a weakness. As he says, like a page or two later, to simply live your life is an insult. It's weak. It's you're not accomplishing anything unless you work towards a dream that you're trying to accomplish in life. And not only that, but your friends must have their own dreams. Like he doesn't want to be around anyone who doesn't take their life into their own hands in the pursuit of some kind of goal, whether it be incredibly noble or even like just depraved. Like he just wants you to have a goal that you're working towards, or he doesn't really want to know you. But I do have a lot of questions, like, is he lying when he's telling the princess this? Is he trying to sound noble even though he, like, everything he's accomplishing, he's getting through the Bayolet, like he's getting through the help of demons and whatnot? Like is he just trying to woo the princess, and he's saying whatever he thinks will astonish her at this time, because it does astonish her? Or is this depraved nonsense, like saying that you have to accomplish a dream of some sort? Like it's not enough to simply live your life and survive and be happy in life. You have to want more. You have to do more. It sounds like he's putting a lot of expectations on others, as he is himself, but constant working towards other thing and not sitting down every now and then to just enjoy what life has to offer. It sounds like the ramblings of a madman at times. It sounds like someone who is slowly killing themselves, and it's like things that rich people tell themselves. And like maybe the only reason Griffith is able to achieve his dream or work in this capacity is because he's powered in some superhuman way. So as noble as all that can sound at times, it does also beg the question of what's going on underneath the surface. Does he believe any of this, or is he kind of a hypocrite in what he's trying to say here? There are other interesting things about this volume. I particularly like Guts' connection to Adonis. Adonis is Julius's child that he kills early in the volume. And he sees Julius yelling at Adonis, and this brings up memories of him being yelled at and abused by Gambino, and he sort of feels a connection. And then when he kills Adonis by accident, he feels this immense guilt. It's one of the few times we actually see him feel guilt, because I think he's sort of depriving this child of his own sort of freedom, or his own sort of resolution to all of this trauma one day, that he might eventually break free like Guts did and find his own sort of people and find his way like Guts did. But Adonis is never going to get that because he was killed, which is unfortunate. And then another thing I like about this volume is there is more of a focus on Griffith. It allows for great sort of character study, character development, figuring out more about this person that we've been following for a couple volumes. But at the same time, that comes at the expense of Guts, being focused on Guts, which I don't like, because this is Berserk. This is supposed to be about Guts' journey, and it feels like he's just put on the back burner here. And like what I'm used to is seeing Guts slaughtering countless people, a lot of bloodshed, all in the service of eradicating demons and whatnot. We've kind of moved away from that, and this isn't bad enough to hurt the volume or anything. I just hope this isn't like where this is sort of leading, where like how Miura is going to write it in the future, which I doubt he will, but I kind of want more than just what he's writing here. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Volume 6 of Berserk. Again, this is a high-quality series. Each volume stands out, and there's something to enjoy from each volume. So I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it yet. Start at Volume 1, of course, or reread it if you've already read it and you're at this point. I'm definitely going to read Volume 7 or 8 when I get the chance, and future volumes in the series. Comment below if you have anything to say about this particular video. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe so that more people can find out about this manga or this author if they don't already know. And join the Discord if you want to have further discussions and whatnot. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and accidentally killing a child travels. Please don't kill little children. Definitely kill older knights and whatnot. Just or just don't kill anyone at all. Farewell.